Good afternoon. Over the course of the last number of weeks, concern has been growing here and indeed all across the world about the growing prevalence, nature and risk associated with the Delta variant of COVID-19. While we are all still learning about it, one thing that is very clear is that it is much more transmissible. The European Centre for Disease Control, for example, estimates that it is 55% more transmissible than the last variant that we had to contend with. This has led to legitimate discussion about what impact the variant may have on our reopening plan. This afternoon, I want to update you on how we intend to proceed. The first thing that needs to be said is that we have made and are making tremendous progress. The rollout of our national vaccination programme on a scale unprecedented in our history, in combination with the careful, staged reopening of our society and the consistent cooperation of our people, is working. We are enjoying each other's company and enjoying hospitality again in many thousands of new outdoor settings that have transformed the centres of our villages, towns and cities. Our retail sector is back in business. We have a summer of glorious sport to look forward to. We are back building houses. Our libraries and art galleries are open again, and outdoor musical and cultural events are beginning to return. All across the country and in countless different sectors, we are making progress. And on each occasion, when announcing the gradual reopening of each of these sectors, I've been absolutely clear in repeating one of this government's guiding principles. When a sector or an activity reopens, we want to make sure that it stays open. The feedback from across the entire country over the course of the last year is consistent. The process of reopening and then closing different sectors has had a terrible impact on people's mental health and well-being, and it has a potentially devastating impact on the sectors affected. We want to avoid a repeat of that cycle. Last night, we were advised by public health officials in very stark terms that proceeding exactly as planned on the 5th of July carries a real risk of greatly increased spread of the virus, increased hospital admissions, illness and death. Last night and this morning, the government has examined this advice and agreed to delay some elements of the further reopening scheduled for the 5th of July. There will be an increase in the number of people attending outdoor events, and given its very special nature, the numbers of guests attending weddings can increase to 50 as planned. However, a return to other indoor activities, including hospitality, will be delayed. NPHET's clear advice, based on the modelling it has done, is that given the increased transmissibility of the Delta variant, the safest way to now proceed with a return to indoor hospitality is to limit access to those who have been fully vaccinated or have recovered from COVID infection. Over the course of the coming weeks, government will work urgently with the relevant sectors to agree a practical and workable approach. The simple truth is that we are in a race between the variant and vaccines, and we want to do everything we possibly can to make sure that the vaccine wins. 4 million doses of vaccine have already been administered, and each additional week means that hundreds of thousands of additional vaccines can be given to people. The updated advice from the National Immunisation Advisory Council and the wider range of options that it now gives our extraordinary vaccination team is very welcome. It means that many people will now get fully vaccinated sooner, and it means that supplies permitting, we can get more people vaccinated more quickly than before. The vaccines are safe, they work, and when your chance comes, please take your vaccine. The vaccine programme is building us the wall of protection we need. It will not be impenetrable, we know that, but it will be a massive defence against COVID, including the Delta variant. We do not want to lose the progress we have made, and I am satisfied that the adjustments to our plan, agreed by government this morning, represent a sensible, safe and balanced way forward. Our tourism and hospitality sectors have carried a disproportionate burden throughout this pandemic, And I know that this delay we are announcing this afternoon will be greeted with dismay and frustration by some. And in recognition of the circumstances, we will provide additional supports over the coming weeks. But I also know that this sector understands better than anyone the much greater harm that we would risk to their businesses if we undermine the tremendous progress that we have made together. The best way to ensure and protect sustained social and economic progress is to continue to keep the virus under control, and so far we have been doing that. I've talked before of the many twists and turns in the COVID journey. Today's adjustments to our plan is another twist in our story, but our direction of travel is unchanged. We are emerging from the pandemic. We're coming out of this. With continued vigilance and patience, we can ensure that the worst of this is behind us. Go raibh míle maith agaibh go léir.